What's up, guys? We're back again today with another great video, and in today's video I've got some great and exciting news about the C7 Corvette. Like I've told you all in a couple videos, we did pick up a really cool sponsor. It's EOS, which is the Extreme Online Store, and they actually sent us out the new 3.5, or not new, I think they've had it for a while, but the stage 3.5 front lip for the car. And then we actually got the more aggressive winglets that go on the side, because there's two options you can pick with those. So I'm really excited to show you guys. I actually have already unboxed everything. The packaging and everything that they use is really nice. It already comes painted the carbon flash, the black that, you know, comes on the Corvettes from factory, which is like this color. And then on the back of the car, which it's too close to the garage door right now, but on the back, it's the black that, you know, comes with the accents on the Corvette. So let's go ahead and we'll jump into the video, and I'll kind of show you guys everything that we got with it, and I'll show you a full breakdown and install of this product. Sorry for my messy garage right now, guys. We got a lot of projects going on, but anyway, so this is how they sent the extra winglets, which looks like that right there. And as you guys can see, I just always want to give companies a good shout out when they use, you know, when they ship a product well, because I've gotten a lot of products that's been damaged, and especially with these being painted, you definitely want them to be wrapped up nice and neat, and where they can't get damaged. So as you guys can see, they're in this plastic wrap, and they've also got all this foam wrap on them, so that way none of the paint gets messed up. So now let's go ahead and we'll check out the lip. All right, so as you guys can see right here again, they shipped this in a box, and it was wrapped in that same cellophane, and the box actually had these extra thick cardboard pieces on either end, that way the edges of the lip could not poke out. And I looked it over really good. It was not damaged at all. So really good shipping on EOS, so you don't have to worry about the products getting messed up in shipment. I'll actually show you guys their logo and stuff right here. So the other winglets, here is what they look like. So you've got two options with this lip. I believe it comes with these, and then maybe those winglets, the ones I'm going to put on, as an option. So this is kind of your first option here. And the second option is the more aggressive style that kind of comes up a little bit on the sides. And this is what they look like. So obviously once we install it, you guys will be able to see them. I'll hold up this one and this one to the car. That way you know kind of which one you would prefer. So with all that being said, we've got all of our supplies right here that they sent with it. A lot of the mounting points actually are the factory mounting points, so you can actually reuse a lot of the bolts and stuff underneath the car already, which is super nice. It does come with some 3M tape that we're going to put around right up here, and I'll show you guys where to put that at. And then from factory, they actually do use some rivets as well. Once I get underneath the car, I'll kind of see what we're going to use out of this supplies and what we're going to use that's already on the car from factory. So let's go ahead and I will clean off the top, and we'll go ahead and put our 3M tape up here first, and then we'll go underneath the car and kind of check out what bolts we need to go ahead and take out before we can stick it on there and then start putting our bolts in. Really quick and easy install. All right, guys, so underneath my Corvette, this is kind of how it looks, and this is a Z51 Corvette, so it might be a little bit different if you guys have a Grand Sport option or Z06 option. Depending on the car, it might look a little bit different underneath here, but first things first, I've actually already taken out a couple of these, that way you guys can see them. But this is what they look like. They should be 7mm or a 9/32. I'm having to use my 9/32 because my 7mm decided to go on vacation. So for this job anyway. But we're going to go straight across right here, and we're going to take off all these bolts in the front, and then there shouldn't be anything in the back that's going to block it on my Corvette. You guys might have to take off some of the stuff back here. I know sometimes they have like a little plastic guard that comes down that you have to drill out, maybe the rivets, or if you all have a lip right now, they have some pop rivets that you might have to drill out, but no big deal on that. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to start taking off all these bolts, and then we'll go ahead and put the 3M tape on the lip. and we'll try to start on each side and the middle, and then we'll pull the tape off, and then we'll run down all the bolts that match up and line up, and then we'll actually have to drill a couple holes where the pop rivets are going to go, since mine does not have the pop rivets in it from factory. So let's go ahead and we'll jump into a time lapse and get these bolts out. Alright, so we got all the bolts out right here. Now I'm going to go ahead and prep the surface of the actual lip or splitter itself, and go ahead and put the 3M tape on this. And then we're also going to prep the bottom of the car right here. I'm going to use some rubbing alcohol just because it cleans it really good, and then it dries almost instantly. That way you can go ahead and get the install going.
They tell me that I'm never gonna make it. They want me to do something that could make sense. They hate when I keep dreaming I'll be famous, but I don't give a f***, I'ma keep chasing. I got all this potential that's deep inside of me, but they hate when you're successful cause they try to be. They sit there being just...
Alright, so we went ahead and got both surfaces clean with our rubbing alcohol, and I went ahead and put the 3M tape on. I'm not 100% sure the best spot to put this. I guess I could have ran in the middle right here, but when I held the lip up, it looked like the contact of this splitter and the bumper was more in the front right here, so I put it right in front of each of these front holes. This is just the way I'm going to do it. You guys can kind of see how, or what the best way you think it might be to do it. Once I put it on, you definitely don't want to see any of that 3M tape kind of sticking out from, you know, your bumper and this. I've had that happen before in some of the other installs I've done, so I'll kind of let you guys know how it goes with this and the way that I done it. But as you guys can see, I went right in front of the holes right here, so you shouldn't be able to see it because I believe the bumper is going to go all the way out to here. But if it does, then I'll have to change that location. So, but like I said, I'll let you guys know that later in the video. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm probably actually going to use some of these paper towels right here to kind of help hold it up, because I am by myself. I'm going to go ahead and put the bolts in on either end and then try to go in the middle. And once I do that, then I'm going to pull back my backing tape on the 3M tape and then kind of stick it up, because then once you've got your two outer bolts and the middle one, it's pretty much centered. You can kind of snug those down, and then the lip's going to be, or splitter's going to be where it's going to be at, and then you can go ahead, put your other bolts in, and then put our pop rivets in. One thing you might want to do with your 3M tape is you might want to pull the backing back a little bit and kind of hang it over. That way it will make it easier, because this stuff's a pain in the butt to get off, especially if you've got it in a tight spot. So I'm going to pull it back on both ends just to be safe.
Because you're trying things and they just want you to settle and do the right thing. So get a good job, don't slack off. Wake up every morning, make a good impression on your boss. Don't do anything that I wouldn't do. And when you're making money, make sure you don't spend it.
Alright, so as you guys seen, it took me a little bit of time to figure out how I was going to do it by myself. It definitely will help if you have somebody around that can hold the middle of the lip or the other side of the lip while you're trying to start them over here. But I went ahead and I put one on this side like I was telling you guys. So we've got one right here, and then we did the same thing on the opposite side over there, and then we went ahead and put our center one in. I don't know if you guys can see it, but we put our center one in right here. Now some of the holes look like they're not going to line up exactly right, but what we can do is we'll put in all the ones that line up good, and then like I said, we're going to put in the pop rivets. Once you do that, it's going to be very secure and you're not going to have to worry about it from there. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll jump back into the time lapse. I'm going to kind of move the lip around a little bit, kind of keep them loose on either end, that way you're able to kind of move it back and forth. I'm going to get most of the bolts lined up where they're supposed to be at, and before I snug them down, I will then pull the 3M tape back, and then we'll start snugging them all down.
I'll do what I wanna do. I got a different path from everyone, and that includes you. Who are you to tell me how to live life? In these times it feels like nobody's right, yeah. So I'ma figure out what else we succeed, and then invest all of my time into that and proceed. I need whatever the hell could make me.
Alright guys, so actually all my bolts that I took out actually lined up perfect with the lip. I've seen like where some people's might not have lined up exactly, maybe they just didn't have the lip on there properly, but once I kind of slid it over, all the bolts that I took out actually went right back in where they were supposed to. As you guys can see, it's actually pretty sturdy right now, but we're going to go ahead and do the pop rivets anyway, because As you guys can see right in here, it's kind of hanging down just a little bit, which most people wouldn't notice that. I mean, if you don't want to have to deal with doing the pop rivets, you don't have to, because it's really, I mean, it's super sturdy the way it is. But I'm gonna go ahead and put the rivets in. So I'll show you guys how that's done now. So we're back underneath the car now, and I'm gonna show you guys where you need to put the rivets at. So all the big oversized holes right here, that's all the spots that the rivets need to go. So as you guys can see over there and right here, there's none dead center, and then it goes back over there. So you've got 5 on this side and 5 on this side. So you're actually gonna have to take, if your car didn't have rivets in it before, you're actually gonna have to take a drill bit. I've got an 11/64 drill bit in mine. You just wanna make it basically the same size or the same diameter as the end of your rivet, but you want it to be tight. You don't want it to be super loose, so that way when you go in, it will get a good grab on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and drill out all those, and then we're gonna take our handy dandy handheld rivet gun right here, and we're going to go in and pop them all in. And then after that, this lip or splitter will be very secure, and you won't have to worry about it bending or coming off. So let's go ahead and we'll drill all these out, and then you'll see me go through and put all the rivets in, and I'll show you the finished product.
And I don't think you have a clue, what could that be? They tell me that I'm never gonna make it. They want me to do something that can make sense. They hate when I keep dreaming I'll be famous, but I don't give a They tell me that I'm never gonna make it. They want me to do something that can make sense. They hate when I keep dreaming I'll be famous, but I don't give a I keep chasing.
Alright guys, so now we got all the pop rivets in and all of our 7mm bolts. And as you guys can see, that's kind of what it looks like underneath. So now we can go ahead and move on to putting our winglets on the side of it. And I'll show you guys the 2 different options for that. Alright, so like I said before, we have 2 different winglet options that are going to go right here on the side. I'll show you the first option, and this is actually what comes with it right here. So you've got kind of the smaller look like that, or you can opt for the stage 3.5, which is probably what I'm going to run, because I want it to have that most aggressive look as it can have. And that's kind of what it looks like right here. I've actually already off camera installed the driver's side while I was charging my camera up, so you guys can kind of see what it looks like right here. So it looks really, really good. It kind of reminds me of the ZR1 style front end on it. It looks really cool. It's kind of got that closed winglet. Looks a lot more aggressive, makes the car look a heck of a lot better than it does from factory. So I'm gonna actually go ahead and put on this smaller winglet on this side, just so you guys can kind of see what it looks like and get a good comparison here. And I'll show you kind of the what bolts and stuff you're gonna need to do that, also with doing the bigger one as well. That way, depending on what you choose to do, you'll know how to install it. All right, so with the splitter itself, you've got all this equipment here, or all these nuts and bolts here, depending on what you need and what style your car is, depends on what you're going to use. But for the winglets on the side, you're actually going to use these longer bolts right here, and I believe they're like T15s or T20s maybe. I'm not exactly sure. I'll let you guys know in a second, but this is what you're going to use to install the smaller winglets with. Now, if you have the larger ones, you're actually going to use these, and they actually come with the winglets themselves in the package. So you're going to have the smaller ones because they actually pinch in between right here. As you guys can kind of see, they pinch where these bolts actually go through, and you'll actually see those on the outside of the car. So I'm going to go ahead and install this one so you guys can kind of see what it looks like. All right, so I got it all installed. It's actually a T25 is what you're going to use for the bolts on the smaller, kind of less aggressive, more sleek looking winglet. So as you guys can see, this is kind of what it looks like from the front and from the side. The pictures and video of this lip and splitter as a whole does not do it justice. It looks a heck of a lot better in person. Really big in the front and aggressive. And then we'll walk over here to this side, and you can kind of see right here kind of how it looks from the side and from the front. So that way you guys can kind of see if you even want those. You don't have to buy them extra But if you do want them, now you guys kind of know what they look like back and forth. So now I'm going to go ahead and actually install this on the passenger side, and then we'll close up the video. All right, so first things first, you're going to want to go ahead and turn your wheel a little bit if you're doing the larger ones, because you're going to have to get to these in here. Sometimes these are Torx heads. On mine, they're actually Phillips heads. So I'm going to go ahead and take these 3 completely out, and then we're actually going to take the bolts that they supply right here, which are 10 millimeters, and we're just going to barely run those in just enough to where it grabs, because like I said before, this has actually got to, as you guys can see, it's going to slide down in those, and then you're going to tighten them up after. So let me go ahead and take all these Phillips heads out and get these kind of started, and I'll show you guys. I'll do a time lapse of me kind of sliding it in and tightening everything down. On my 10 millimeters, I'm actually going to put a little bit of thread locker on them just so they don't vibrate loose as we're going down the road. So let's go ahead and get started.
If I get rid of the devils, they think that I am a rebel. I think they want me to settle. There's nobody on my level. They think that work is too stressful. I think that work is essential. The grind is all in your mental.
All right, so as you guys seen, it just kind of slides in. You kind of move it around a little bit, and you'll have to mess with the bolts underneath, moving them in and out. Just make sure your washers don't get caught on the inside. But other than that, guys, it's a really simple install all in all on the whole splitter and the winglets on the side. Like I said, just make sure you get them pretty tight. You don't want to over tighten them, because if you do, those inserts might loosen up and then you won't be able to tighten one of them on the winglets. But tight is tight. Remember that when you're doing stuff like this, and if you're going to use some thread locker, they'll be good anyway. At the very end of this clip, I'll try to get some side-by-side shots and stuff. I took some pictures before. I can't remember if I did any footage before, but this is kind of what it looks like right here. I will pop up some of the pictures that I took. We went up to the Corvette Museum last weekend, and I was able to get some cool pictures of the car with the front lip on it. That way you guys can kind of see it in pictures and different backgrounds and stuff. And I'll throw some of the pictures before I installed it as well on there. That way you can kind of see a good comparison. All right, guys, so that's pretty much it for today's install. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did. It really made the Corvette look a lot better, a lot more aggressive in the front. A big shout out to EOS, the Extreme Online Store, for sending that out to us and to the channel. That way I can make a really good video for you guys. Hopefully it'll help some of our fellow C7 owners pick a front lip for them and help them install it. But anyway, guys, this lip looks so aggressive on the front of the car, and the fitment is absolutely perfect, and it uses those factory bolts. A very easy install. Great job to EOS. I haven't tried, obviously, any other lips for the Corvette, but I have done a lot of stuff on the TC, as you guys know, and the lips for those was kind of a pain in the butt. I had to stretch them, move them around and everything to get them to line up and work, but perfect fitment on this. So again, great job to EOS, and again, thank you guys for allowing me to do this install for you all. Anyway, I hope that they will send us out the side skirts, or maybe the rear spoiler and some other stuff that they have on their website, so I can continue making cool videos for you guys on the C7. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to the channel to see some more cool stuff on the C7 Corvette. Also, there'll be a lot more stuff on the new Highlander, and we have some stuff coming up for the TC as well. So a lot of cool stuff coming on the channel, so please make sure you subscribe. Hit the like button and make sure you hit your notifications. That way you can see when new videos come up. And please make sure you share it to your friends. That'll help us grow together, and it allows me to do cool videos like what we just did this time. So see y'all next time. Peace out, and remember, build your masterpiece.
Hey, I got something to say. I'm just so sick of hearing everyone complain. I know it's tough and I know there's pain, but hitting